Okay, welcome to Doug's Amp of the Day, episode 3. What we got here is a Fuchs Train 45 combo. Now basically, it is very similar to a Trainwreck Express built by Ken Fisher back in the 80s and 90s. Which essentially is a high gain amp, but with no master volume. So the idea is to get all the different tones, clean and dirty both, from the volume control on your guitar. And it takes a little bit of finesse, and I still haven't mastered it, but I like the idea. The circuit itself is pretty simple. I mean, the amp doesn't have any reverb or effects loop or any of that stuff. Now this particular one, if we go to the front panel, it has a 3-position bright switch, bright, flat, and dark, which the original Trainwreck Expresses also had that. And the knobs are a pretty simple layout. You got gain, high, mid, low, and presence. And there is, like I say, no master volume on this amp. So if it's too loud for the amount of gain that you're using, the only way to do it is cut it down with an attenuator, which goes between the output of your amp and your speaker. Now this amp does have an aftermarket attenuator in the back of it. It's a Dr. Z brake light attenuator. It's got like 4 different steps of attenuation on it. The tube complement on this amp, it's got 3 12AX7s and 2 6V6s. This amp can either use 6V6s for 22 watts or EL34s for about 45 watts. This one has 6V6s for 22 watts, and it's the loudest 22 watts that I've ever heard. Other than that, on the back it has a switch for the basically the power supply. It's a hard soft switch, and if it's set on the soft side, it mimics a tube rectifier and kind of drops the power down a little bit. I usually set it on the soft side. As far as the rectifier goes, it doesn't have a rectifier tube. It is a solid state rectifier. So we'll get right to it and plug into it and see what kind of tones we can get out of it. It is quite loud. I do have the attenuator step down to the second step to try to tame the volume some, so hopefully it'll translate to this phone audio. Okay, all the tone controls on this amp are set at about 3, with the exception of the low, which is set at about 2. I've got the gain maybe at about 1, because it's just that loud. But we'll see what we can do here. Basically, the harder you hit it, the more it's going to break up. Okay, well that's kind of what it does on clean. It's more of a mid-range voice, which doesn't sound really too pretty sometimes on its own, but if you're in a band, it'll cut through. Basically, that's where the guitar ought to be, is in the mid-range voicing. I'm going to try to turn the gain up and turn that attenuator down a little bit. Try to get it to overdrive a little bit more, let you know what it sounds like in that mode. Okay, the gain's at about 2 instead of 1, and the attenuator is stepped down about as much as it will go. It will get a lot gainier and break up more than this, but this is about probably as much sound pressure as my phone's going to pick up. So anyway, this is a pretty good blues tone where it's at right now. Once again, when you turn your guitar volume down, it cleans up really nicely. And even with the gain on 2 on this amplifier, you can still get quite a lot of sustain. I might mention that this amp has a cold clipper gain stage, kind of like a master volume Marshall, like a JCM 800 or something like that, which causes asymmetrical clipping and gives you even order harmonics. So it kind of borrows a little bit from the Marshall Camp 2s to get that sound. But the tone controls are wired a little bit different than what a Marshall is. But I mean, all that stuff, you know, what it comes down to is tone, basically. This amp has it. The only problem I have with it is, you know, seems like it might be too loud for most applications that I play in anymore, but I think I'm going to hang on to it anyway. Fuchs Audio, Train 45. Stay tuned for more. Thanks.